It's my pleasure now to welcome Daniel Bloch Jeydel to the Bima. He's with us. Daniel is a multi-generational member of our congregation, and we welcome him to the pulpit now, even though he has grown through every age and stage in our congregation, but now in his role as chair of our Philanthropic Committee to share a brief update.
Dear friends, these days of awe are special. I am so glad to be here, panim el panim, face to face with you. Speaking of faces, if you've ever shared an elevator ride with me at the temple, you already know that I am something of a talkative person. But more than any time during the year, it is these days of awe when I speak the most. It's not at a higher volume. It's that I talk to myself. Over the past 9 days, and for the next 24 hours, we'll all be in dialogue with ourselves. In Hebrew, the word for prayer is reflexive. There are different Hebrew verb formats. One is hitpa'el, and it is for actions we do to ourselves. Mitlabesh, for example, means to dress oneself. The same verb pattern is present for the word mitpalel. It means to pray, but it has that meat at the beginning, meaning it's like getting dressed. It's an action we do to ourselves. When we partake with the clergy in responsive reading, when we sing, and when we take a moment to pray alone, we say prayers aloud, enough for us to hear ourselves. When we hear something back, it gives us the ability to make important changes in our minds and to our habits. My wife and I are expecting our first child in just a few weeks. For the first time during the high holidays, I've been visualizing conversations with our son. I'm sure that many of you as parents, caretakers, teachers, and mentors are routinely asked questions from people who are new to our world, who are perplexed, and who might stump you. Over these days, I've imagined how I would respond to a range of questions. First, why did we walk by people living on the street on our way to school this morning? Why are children sleeping in gyms at schools in our city? What happens right after an earthquake, after a flood? Will children see their parents again after being separated in Ukraine by Russian soldiers? Why are my cousins in Israel protesting against each other? Why is there a big police dog outside of our synagogue? These are difficult questions, and I respect that everyone here will have their own answer. However, what we each have in common in our responses, and what I've begun to tell our son, is that Temple Emanu-El's Philanthropic Fund is working hard to address these serious questions. The Philanthropic Fund has 4 focus areas. First, we help vulnerable New Yorkers. We provide international humanitarian aid. We strengthen Jewish continuity, and we invest in Israel's future. You heard Rabbi Davidson share last week that we were among the first donors to have immediate impact in Morocco with Natan, Worldwide Disaster Relief, and IsraAid, who were on the ground within 24 hours in Marrakesh with trauma, medical, and engineering teams. These courageous volunteers knew that our community of thousands had their backs as they boarded one-way flights to a foreign land that was in distress. We are humbled this evening to announce another innovative grant in response to a crisis that isn't just close to home, it's in our midst. Your contributions have underwritten the full-time hire of an Avodah Fellow with Hias, who will process 75 to 100 migrant applications this year, along with housing, financial, medical, job placement assistance, and dignity services. Rabbi Ehrlich, who has led this work, reminded our committee of our temple's close connection with Hias. In fact, many of you in the pews right now have ancestors that Hias supported in bringing to our country. This grant is a testament that we have gone from helping refugees a century ago who were Jewish to all of us now together helping refugees because we are Jewish. The new fellow who started this week and these acts of Hesed would not have happened without you. Meanwhile, the Philanthropic Fund and the work of the Tikkun Olam Committee continues every day in our city, in our kitchen downstairs, where we feed more than 5,000 people a year, and through other initiatives and grants, a selection of which are on our website and were emailed to you last night. Over this past year, you have helped us address food scarcity in every borough, scholarships for the next generation of clergy, active duty military personnel and veterans, religious freedom and pluralism in Israel, the Ukrainian community in Krakow, and so much more. Whether we've prayed together every year or if this is your first time in our sanctuary, we are all aware that the needs today have never been greater. We are counting on you to pledge generously to Temple Emanu-El's Philanthropic Fund. There are pledge cards on your seats, or if you prefer, there will be a QR code in the lobby after our service. You may also pledge through our website, and for those watching remotely, I think a link should appear right now on your screen. It has never been easier to have this kind of impact outside our doors and around the world in real time. No money contributed to the Philanthropic Fund is used to support temple operating expenses. That important work, which our president, Harris Diamond, spoke about during Rosh Hashanah, is done through the annual fund. With the Philanthropic Fund, not a dime goes to staffing, music, security, worship, education, or the other essential aspects of our synagogue. In fact, Temple Emanu-El is the only synagogue in the country to make a separate appeal. We do so because compassion and supporting those with the courage to make a difference, like the people that Rabbi Davidson just preached about, who see God in our world when others don't, are a manifestation of our temple's values. This act of generosity affirms our prayers. This work, which you can make possible right now, will help each of us answer the difficult questions that we confront head-on during these holy days. Please join us in this sacred work, panim el panim, face to face, one in unity and one in fellowship. Thank you.